the biggest revenues, and, many believed, the most respect. That morning, the Wolverines stood at 11-0 and were ranked second in the nation. A win over top-ranked Ohio State the next day, in the first game of the century, would give them a shot at a 12th national title, which would provide a fine springboard for the complete renovation of the stadium, ensuring the Big House would remain the nation's biggest and most profitable for years to come. Retired coach Bo Schembechler, the program's patriarch, gave the team a vintage speech Thursday night, but he did not spend much time on that weekend's game or the stakes involved. Instead, he talked to them about what it means to be a Michigan man, and how becoming one was the ultimate goal of everyone in that room. In Ann Arbor, life couldn't get much better. The next morning, Friday, November 17, 2006, Bo Schembechler died from heart failure. For Michigan fans, the bad news has lasted almost a decade. The next day, Michigan lost a nail-biter, 42-39, to Ohio State, then dropped the next 3 straight, including the 2007 season opener against Appalachian State, still considered the greatest upset in the history of college football. When head coach Lloyd Carr retired after that season, Michigan hired Rich Rodriguez, whose troubled 3-year run produced a 15-22 record and a fractured fan base. In 2011, little-known Brady Hoke replaced Rodriguez and enjoyed a honeymoon season when the Wolverines beat the Buckeyes for the first time in 8 years and won a BCS Bowl for the first time in 12 to finish 11-2. But the next 3 seasons, the program slid steadily downhill, culminating in a 5-7 record in 2014 and Hoke's dismissal. Since the day Schembechler died 8 years earlier to Hoke's firing on December 2, 2014, mighty Michigan had gone 55-48 overall and 24-33 in the Big Ten, not the kind of numbers that had made Michigan the envy of its peers. Once the pride of a powerful conference, the Wolverines had become also-rans in an often overlooked league. When the football program collapsed into almost unrecognizable mediocrity, its fall pulled the university itself into conflict, controversy, and crisis. What went so wrong, so fast? The losses fans could see, but most of the problems that led to those losses were invisible to the public, as were their solutions, and the people who conceived them. On January 5, 2010, University of Michigan's president, Mary Sue Coleman, announced she had hired former Michigan football player, university regent, and Domino's Pizza CEO Dave Brandon, ahead of 3 experienced athletic directors with strong Michigan ties, to become Michigan's 11th athletic director. She introduced him as the ideal candidate. Brandon put his guiding principle, if it ain't broke, break it, to work as soon as he took office, transforming Michigan's rock-solid 135-year-old operation into a dazzling money machine, pushing revenues roughly 50% higher in just a few years, up to $150 million. But Brandon also replaced loyal, experienced employees who had built great relationships with the students, the lettermen, the fans, and the media, with outsiders who quickly alienated all those groups. Just 4 years into Brandon's tenure, the money started drying up. The fans stopped filling the Big House, and just about everyone was bailing on Brandon's vision. In October of 2014, the students held a campus rally outside the home of recently hired President Mark Schlissel to demand he fire Dave Brandon. It was not simply the 2014 team's 2-3 record to that point that had them upset, or they would have been asking for Hoke to be fired, not Brandon. It went deeper than that. They no longer had confidence the athletic director represented the values of the university they loved. In different ways and at different times, the many constituents of Michigan football reached the same conclusion. This is not Michigan. Something had to give. But could anyone make the needed changes fast enough to prevent a truly disastrous 2015 season on and off the field and avoid missing out on Michigan's slim chance to hire Jim Harbaugh? Why Michigan pined for Jim Harbaugh is simple. He had been raised in the Michigan tradition. He'd embodied those values while quarterbacking the Wolverines to a Big Ten